Hello everybody, welcome to the DECA Dialogues. We're sitting down with members from all around as they share their unique journeys. From first competitions to future careers, hear how DECA is building the leaders of tomorrow today. Get inspired, get connected. This is DECA Dialogues. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very fun edition of the DECA Dialogues. We're sitting down with an alumni of DECA, Kourtney Harms.
Hello.
Kourtney, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Miles?
I'm doing wonderful. Kourtney, do you mind just introducing yourself to us a little bit?
Not a problem. Yeah, so my name is Kourtney. As Miles said, I am a recent graduate of the Alexandria Technical and Community College, where Miles currently attends, which is great. I currently work at the college now. I'm an admissions assistant, and that means that I start with the inquiry to college, your inquiry to college, and then I follow through until acceptance. And that's pretty much my primary job. And then from there, I answer all the main phone lines, email, and then I also sit at the front desk. So students come in and talk to me all the time. I get to see Miles quite often, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I was in DECA for 2 years. Very short-lived, but super impactful. It was a great time. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you were the former vice president of Minnesota Collegiate DECA, correct?
I was. So now Miles is sitting in that position, which is pretty great.
That's kind of fun how that works and whatnot. That was just last year too.
It feels like just yesterday, actually. So I was vice president of the Alexandria chapter, and then my first year, and then my second year, I was the vice president of the state. So got very many opportunities for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'd love to just start off right away. Like you had mentioned, very shorter amount of time in DECA compared to others. That 2 years. How did you get into DECA? What did that first look like, and what was that experience like? What did those 2 years feel like?
Yeah, so starting from the beginning, I had no idea what DECA was. I know a lot of people did it in high school. We did not have that opportunity in high school. So I had no idea. We were a smaller high school coming to college then. I actually, for the acceptance process at Alexandria Tech, you do have to meet with your instructor prior to getting accepted. And I actually met with Karen Mavison, and she talked about DECA, and all they talked about was DECA during that meeting. And I was like, what is DECA? I have no idea what it is. I don't know why you keep talking about it, right? And so then I was like, whatever, DECA. Thinking about it a little bit, thought it was kind of cool. Didn't really think I would get involved because I was just a first year student. I didn't really want to get too involved. Well, then I got to college, and the first 2 weeks, that's all they talked about again, was DECA. And I was like, okay, I probably should go to this meeting because that's all we're talking about. So that was great. I did end up going to that meeting. I think by the second meeting, I was running for vice president of DECA. So
that's awesome.
Obviously, that first meeting was very impactful. It does help when your friends were the vice president of the state. So that was kind of nice. I knew Jordan prior to the meeting through trap shooting. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, that does seem pretty cool. So now you had that first year kind of, you got into it a little bit, hearing so much about it. I think me personally, as president this year, I probably talked people's ears off more than I can imagine. But no, now that you transition into it, you get into the vice president of the state. What did that year look like? That's your final year. I'm sure it had to have gone by in a breeze, but what were some of the highlights?
Yeah, so I started it would have been 23, and I ran for vice president of the college, and then from there, by that February, I was already running for state vice president. I knew DECA had an impact on so many people's lives, and so I wanted to be a part of that. So February, I became elected as the vice president. It was super fun, super great experience. Met super cool people too. I had the best team that I could have had. We all worked together very well, and I actually was best friends with one of my other vice presidents, Abby. So that made it 10 times better. And then, we did some training in June, some public speaking training to work with DECA as a whole, and what our goals were. And then, pretty soon it was my final year. I started my final year. Tried to stay involved with the college. I will admit I did let go of the college DECA a little bit just because being a vice president of the state is a different aspect. So it's hard to hold on to both. And you're doing a great job right now doing both. But yeah, it's a lot. I mean, you have to admit, And so I did keep in contact, and I helped the president of ATCC last year. And then, so that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's a really wonderful. That's a really wonderful journey that that you shared there. Again, especially those 2 years, but very impactful.
For sure.
So now you get to that point where you finally you walk the stage at graduation, right? You get out of that building. You're officially a graduate. What did that feel like? What was that next step for you? Did you know, or how did you overcome that question of like, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Right?
So I graduated from business management, and that's super broad. So you don't have a direct path right away. It's kind of up to you. And so I've always wanted to be a real estate agent. So I'm still currently working on that. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep working at DJ's Tap House here in town. So I've been doing that. And then I just got offered an opportunity to work at the college. And I was like, I never wanted to close the yearbook, as people say. So I gladly took that job. I got offered that job. So I actually applied for it, and they called me back within minutes of my interview. And they're like, Kourtney, we want you. And I was like, great. This is going to be a great opportunity to keep Alexandria Tech because I've just been so connected to it. But I will admit that DECA has truly impacted my job as a whole. I never would have been sitting next to you talking like this. I would have probably stumbled across my words 47 times already. Public speaking was a huge thing when I was younger. I never wanted to talk in front of people. I didn't even want to talk in front of like 3 people. So being vice president of the state, you just kind of got thrown into that. And now I'm sitting here. So, and being able to sit in that position at the tech, I talk to so many people all day long that it's great. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I completely agree with you there, especially when I started out in high school. Many people may not see it, but I didn't like public speaking.
Yeah, I would have never guessed, Miles.
there was a time. But no, like you said, you get thrown into it, and you kind of got to you stumble, right? At first, you stumble, and you have those interactions, but it sets you up in a way where you're connecting with people who have that common ground.
Exactly.
And I feel like that gives you the chance to develop some of those skills to then transfer it into, okay, how do I talk to people where there isn't that common ground, right? It gets you a little bit of that step up.
For sure.
And that even helps me in my day-to-day. I'm also a tour guide at the Tech College, and that's where I get to see Kourtney mostly every week, I'd say.
Or
try to pop in every now and then.
Otherwise, he just comes and visits, which is always great. It's great to see Miles.
Thank you. But no, that kind of transfers a little bit into my day-to-day too, to talk to some people, and sometimes there's some groups where it's. The questions are kind of like you gotta stop a little bit. It's like, is that
really a question?
Are you pulling my leg a little bit? But no, it's good to kind of just be able to build those connections and whatnot.
Well, don't you think that DECA has helped you with that, with those little conversations?
Absolutely.
Even like public speaking, and then it comes down to the one-on-one conversations too. So I think DECA is great. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, as an alumni. You're still are you still involved with DECA, or how does that process look like once you get out? And is there any way where you're still trying to be involved with Minnesota Collegiate DECA as an alumni? Yeah,
so it does help a lot that I was a vice president for the state. So you get connected with the alumni that have been there. So that's one opportunity. But I will say that the thing that's nice about DECA is it never has to end. So you can always be an alumni, and they will make sure that happens for you. So that's been great. I will admit that with this new job that I just started in late August, I haven't had a lot of PTO, which is a problem. And so, yes, I got invited to Innovation Summit. I'm sure I'll get invited to the state conference, and I'm sure I'll get invited to internationals. But with PTO, I haven't been able to go to, I wasn't able to go to Innovation Summit, which was really disappointing because I saw all the pictures and I was like, oh, so sad. But I'm hoping that I'm saving my PTO right now to go to international.
That would be really fun.
I really want to go to that for sure. And if I can help out at state, I would love to.
Yeah.
I do know that it is a Thursday and Friday, so that means I have to take off both days. But I would love to help out because DECA did so much for me, so why not do it back? You know. So
I completely agree. No, that's good to hear that side, because I think at least for me personally, now granted I still have some time left, but I definitely think when I get out, I definitely think I'd love to still be involved with it as I can and whatnot. And would you eventually, later down the path, would you ever consider doing like judging a little bit, or possibly doing stuff like that?
I would love to judge. I think being in that position, even when I was just a vice president at the college, I was able to go to and judge high school students, which is a great opportunity. And I actually learned a lot from them, even though I was older. So you can always learn, and some students have wonderful ideas. So I would love to be a judge. Haven't gotten the opportunity yet, but hopefully, hoping it's coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. I bet that's got to be an interesting experience, being on the other side of the table, right? And kind of putting yourself in those shoes. And I suppose that would give you a different perspective to learn to actually hear it out and be like, I think for me personally, if I judged an event that I had done years prior and there was a really good presentation, I think I would get a little bit upset.
I would be disappointed in myself. I'd be like,
oh, why didn't I think of that? Right? Oh, that's a really good
agree.
idea.
But that's where you learn. So, yeah.
Well, that's really wonderful. So, the next plan that you were talking about is real estate, right? What sparked that? What sparked that drive, or what sparked that interest in it? Yeah,
so my great aunt has always been a real estate agent. I've always looked up to her. She's been super successful. And I've been in the restaurant industry since I was 14. So sales just come easy to me. And so real estate is a spin-off of that. So I am currently working on that, taking a little bit slow, because I do want to enjoy the fact that I'm able to be at the college.
Absolutely.
I still work at DJ's on the weekends. I work primarily 7 days a week, so I have a full load, which is great. I love it. But real estate is my end goal. That is my plan.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. That's really good. Now, Kourtney, as we come toward the end of the episode, I think it's really exciting again to have you on as an alumni and bring that fresh perspective from somebody who's been that beginning to not necessarily end, but the end of the DECA point. the first journey, if you will. Do you have any other things that you'd like to say to anybody who may be watching, DECA member or
honestly,
not DECA member?
If you aren't a DECA member, become one. That is my biggest thing. Get yourself involved. Even if you are just sitting listening to the officers, take that next step. Be an officer at the local level. Take that next step and be an officer at the state level. There's always another step that you can take, and it'll always help you out. And DECA is so impactful, and it'll help you no matter what kind of, even if you're not in business, if you're not in marketing, it can help you as a whole. It'll help you as a human being.
Absolutely.
So I'll always love DECA. I'll always be involved. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I especially agree with that. It doesn't have to be just when people ask, they're like, oh, is it a business club? And it's that question always stumbles me, because it's like, well, not really, because I know people who want to be in the nursing field, in the manufacturing field, in the engineering field, right? There's all these different things that isn't like they're just not going to go in and start their own business or be involved in marketing, right? And it has those different things like you were talking about with the public speaking.
For sure.
And I completely agree that it's take as many steps as you can and get involved with it. Really cool.
Well, and not only that, but the connections you make too. And so, I mean, right when I started, I got offered an internship at Fastenal, right through DECA. Because they look for those DECA students. Because we are just, on top of the totem pole there. So that's
absolutely.
It's the opportunities you get from it.
And even though it does end, and when you graduated, you're out of it, you still, like you said, making those connections, you still get to keep up those
Exactly.
connections. Like for example, right
Yeah,
here,
exactly.
we're still talking. We're still connected. So those connections aren't just ones that happen in DECA and last in DECA. They last
Yes.
beyond too.
For
It's
sure,
really cool.
for sure.
Well, thank you again so much,
Yeah,
Kourtney,
of
for
course.
coming on and speaking with us today. And thank you, everybody, for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Throw a like on, maybe share, comment. I love reading comments. They're always so fun. And thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in to this episode of the DECA Dialogues. And from Kourtney and I, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.